look good, man. You look good. I like the camera. Looks good too. Crisp.
All right. I think we might be live now. Let's see here.
It takes like a couple seconds to cycle into YouTube, so that's why there's a little bit of a delay.
We got 8 thumbs up, no viewers. But we'll see. Let's see if anything.
Oh no, it's probably there's people in here, man. We got at least 10 to 20 people right now going. So,
okay.
yeah, that's one of the other issues with YouTube. So everyone's listening. I'm seeing us. We're live. One of the issues with YouTube is that it does that where like if you're in the studio. Hi everybody. Oh, I'll let you go. Sorry, we're chatting. Marcello, do your thing, man. Introduce. What's up?
What up? What up? What up? What up? Thanks for joining us. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We were getting everything set up. It's my first time doing a live stream and trying to figure out the software. So my sincere apologies. We are really excited today to have some amazing individuals with us. Obviously, Zach from ZMF and Tyler, who is the person who introduced me to ZMF. So, yeah. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the new ZMF Verite Open's limited wood, which we're going to look at here in a second, as well as the pendant with this beautiful wood base. So, what's up, guys? How are you?
Doing good. How are you doing? Your room looks so nice. You got all the color temperatures there. Every single one, I think.
Thanks, bro.
All the Kelvins.
Yes. All the Kelvins.
It's Kelvin.
He just collects the Kelvins. That's what he does.
You got Kelvin 0 to Kelvin. What's the top Kelvin? 8,000, 10,000?
Oh yeah, you can go over 10,000. I believe it's 10,000 and something. So
I think you think you might have gotten there. I mean, like it.
I'm pretty close.
It's the best lit YouTube interview room I've ever seen of all time.
Dude, I'll take.
Tyler.
I'll take that as a huge.
No. We were funny. Like when we did the one on mine with Marcello when we did it a couple weeks ago with Chrono. Chrono were like, dude, why are you making us look like plebes over here? If you're like professional background pro YouTuber gig going.
Everything Marcello does turns to pure Kelvin. I would say gold, but it's definitely pure Kelvin. Oh.
We lost the overhead cam, so I gotta figure out what happened with that.
I feel like we're playing a little game of peekaboo.
So while we're waiting and while I get this overhead cam back up and running, why don't we let Zach tell us a little bit about this new wood for the Verite limited open.
Ooh.
What makes it different? Maybe the process of sourcing it, and just what people can expect from this wood. I know I was reading a little bit and also through our emails about it's a dense wood, so should have very precise accuracy and quicker speed to it. So I'm gonna give you the whole screen while I fix the overhead cam and let you talk about it a little bit.
That's a lot of pressure.
No pressure, you got it. Boom.
So, hey, I think I have one here. No, I would go grab one, but it's far away. But anyways, yeah, the limited edition is going to be desert ironwood for the Verite Open, and that's what Marcello has, and you'll see in a second. And I think a lot of people might remember we released the first limited edition of the closed Verite in desert ironwood, and it took us a long time to get enough wood that was thick enough for the Verite closed that we could release it in desert ironwood, because the special thing about the desert ironwood tree is that it takes hundreds of years to grow big enough to be able to use, and then you can't cut the tree down legally. It has to be fallen. And so these trees that make up these headphones are probably between 500 and 1,000 years old, and then they're fallen in the desert. Most of them, I believe, in the United States grow in the New Mexico area. But you can see in the wood, the grain is very tight. The wood's super dense. It has the similar texture to African blackwood, which is that, really dark wood that we use that's also a similar density. But Yeah, the special thing sonically about it is this: there's no decay there. It's so hard that you don't get that cup reverb that some people love it. I like it, but it doesn't have the cup reverb of the other woods, especially in the closed versions, and you can hear it in the open version a little bit too. But yeah, we saved up, bought, every time I saw a little bit of it come available, I bought it for the last year, and now we're going to make the the Verite Open out of it. So those people who are used to it in the Verite closed will now see it in the Verite Open, and get those same sonic qualities. And it's also extremely beautiful in that it has it just polishes to a really nice luster and has this dark kind of mahogany amber color to it. It's not a wood that you usually get a lot of figure in. It's really the special aesthetic qualities are in the luster and kind of small pore feel to it, and how kind of just shiny and beautiful it is in kind of a classic sense. It is a heavy wood though, but it's going to be quite a bit lighter than the Verite closed because it has that middle part cut out. So you're not quite the breakneck weight of the Verite closed. So I think the closed was around 650 grams, whereas this is probably around 570. It's still a heavy headphone. Look at it shimmer in the light as Marcello.
Marcello.
Marcello, look at it glisten in the light as Marcello plays, as it dances in the light.
In magical ways. It makes me think of like that. It makes me think of the Moonlight Sonata or something, right? It dances in the moonlight.
Yeah.
No,
our guys
they're
love
gorgeous.
Working with that with the desert ironwood, because it sands and polishes and machines and finishes. It's just such a nice wood to work with. It's just a cool material.
Yeah. So I read the comments. Do you see
Hey, send me a link to the YouTube, Tyler, on Discord, so I can hop in that YouTube.
Oh yeah. Good call. 1 second. Bow. Copy. And boom. And back. In there like swimwear. You are quite welcome, good sir.
Send me a link to the YouTube, Tyler, on Discord.
Okay. So I was gonna say the desert ironwood, like I've seen them on the Verite closed, and they are gorgeous on that. And I'm looking at the pictures that Marcello has done with these, and they are fantastic, just beautiful. So
yeah,
I agree.
I love these. I love the fact that the contrast between the material here. Is this stainless steel, Zach?
Yeah, that's the stainless steel grill, and the steel will really kind of, as you can see, it just shines every which way you have it, because of that slightly convex grill. It just kind of gives you that pinwheel effect. Yeah,
I'm gonna have some fun with that, doing some video and some living photos for sure. That's pretty sweet.
Marcello, you're a ZMF salmon sandwich right now.
I definitely.
You are the keeper.
The ritual. Yes.
Or the headphones are the capers. You're the cream cheese.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the pendant too. I know we don't have you forever, so let's. I know you got a busy schedule, and let's talk a little bit about the pendant. Any changes that were made to it recently, or let's talk about this beautiful encasement here. Oh my God! And by the way, did when you sent this to me for review, I think you just knew that there was no chance that I wasn't gonna not want to buy it after it perfectly matches my Aeolus that the first headphones I ever bought from you. So I was like, son of a gun, Zach, between the sound and how good it sounds, plus now it just matches perfectly. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm gonna have to add this amp to my collection. So tell us a little bit about it. What's new, and was it difficult to get? I mean, it looks perfect. Literally, the wood is just incredible in the base of the pendant. I mean, it's the most beautiful amp I've ever seen. So tell us a little bit about what it was like to build, coming from a headphone where you're building headphones, but now to building this perfectly seamless bass structure to the pendant.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, I don't build the amps, but Amps and Sound and Justin Weber, owner of that company, they build the amp. And when I went to him, I'd heard a lot of his work and always really enjoyed it, and found his work on the more kind of euphonic side of things. Especially, I think the first amp of his I owned was the Kenzie, and then I went to the Mogwai SE, and his amps just have this powerful, weighty sound that just is kind of intoxicating. But for some people, every once in a while, at audio shows, I would notice people found them, especially with our headphones, that like the Aeolus with stock pads or some of our headphones, that thickness plus the kind of warmth of our headphones for some people could be too much. And so I wanted to get a tube amp that had more of an even bass line on it, as far as the kind of tonality that it was bringing to the table, with just enough of that mid-range euphony. And so we played around with the different caps and got this kind of middle ground tube sound that still has that tube euphony and atmosphere and three-dimensional qualities to it, but it doesn't hit you with the kind of mid-range warmth that some people can find gooey. And one thing, the way Justin's able to get this sound, I think it's really unique in the tube amp world, is he has those input transformers, and then you get the coupling cap, and then we added the rectifier for the power stage there. And especially, I know you have the stock tubes. I think I saw that Elmric Brent sent you some extra tubes. I need to send you some tubes too to play with.
Yeah.
But the stock tube sound is very linear, and then you can kind of add warmth by using those old stock tubes. And so I just like that you can start with a baseline of neutrality and kind of add warmth with the tubes, instead of having a baseline of euphony and trying to find a tube that's more neutral. Because some tube amps are kind of like that, where you're like, where can I get this more neutral, like zingy tube, whereas this, it's kind of the opposite. And so, yeah, the bass on the amp, that's actually Elm Burl. It's the closest match we could find. We just couldn't find big enough pieces of camphor burl to get a really nice figured bass out of. So it's actually Elm Burl in the amp, which matches the camphor burl of the headphones really well.
I think it matches it exceptionally well. Yeah, I think it looks great.
Yeah, it just turned out really well. It's the most figured wood we could find that matched it, since camphor didn't seem to work out. There you go. What tube you got there?
So we got a few different tubes that Elmric sent me. Big shout out to the professor. Love that
Professor. Professor.
He sent me all kinds of stuff, man. He sent me looks like some tungscrims. I don't even know if I'm saying that properly. Whole bunch of different stuff. So
yeah, I'm with that.
I gotta definitely check them out. I mean, I literally just opened it just now. You guys saw that happen. So,
yeah.
So I'll be definitely checking these out. And I mean, definitely the stock sound to me is like kind of just like you described it, extremely detailed, euphonic presentation, but not overly gooey in any way. In fact, it even sounds good with planar magnetic headphones. So I think that it's going to be fun to just play around with the different tubes and changing up the sound, and kind of getting a feel for what can be done, just by rolling a few different tubes. And so it makes it extremely versatile in that sense. Whereas, some other amplifiers, you can do that. But I've been comparing this amplifier. I've been really fortunate to have different companies and a lot of great people from our, from the headphones.com forum and our audio friends that have just been sending me amps galore to try. And I've literally compared this to, I think, at least 7-8 amps now. And I mean, it's just the best performing so far that I've heard. There's only one other amp that I like for, just for the gooey flavor right now, and it's a completely different sound. So it's, it's not a if this or that, it's like a both, what's my mood kind of scenario. But I mean, this one just is, man,
Yeah, the cool thing about those transformer-based tube amps is that, you know, you've got, for our amp, it's 8 ohms at the low output and then 100 ohms for the high output. And, you know, we listened all the way 8 ohms, 32 ohms, 64 ohms, and all the way up to 300. And 100 ohms, at least with ZMFs and most other headphones I tried, seemed to be a great middle ground for that 100 ohm being that warmer sound and 8 being that faster sound. Honestly, I usually stick on the 8 impedance out. I think it's a great place to be for our headphones. But the cool thing about the transformer-based tube amps like this is that at 8 ohms, it's got 2.5 watts, you know, output, but then it keeps a linear output range all the way up through 300 ohms. So even at 300 ohms, you still have a watt and a half of power, which for a 300 ohm impedance headphone like ours, it's, you know, tons more power than it needs, you know, and it just keeps that really punchy sound for just about any planar, any dynamic headphone you're going to throw at it, just because it keeps a linear voltage out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Tyler, what were your impressions when you had the pendant on hand?
So I actually agree that with actually Zach nailed it on the head, but I think my favorite pairing with it was my Aeolus. I think that it brought, because Aeolus, like, as I was already saying, is pretty warm especially the mids. It helped accentuate what the Aeolus does well. And then with my Verites, I thought it just gave it some really nice punch and really clean. It just seemed to amplify what was already there in a really clean way for what I was listening to, anyways. That was with the VO and VC. I do recall I mostly listened on the 8 ohm as well when I had it, and I was playing with the different tubes that Zach had provided, which were fantastic. And I would say, but I do think for me personally, my favorite pairing with it was the Aeolus. And that doesn't mean that it wasn't fantastic with the other, my other Verites and what have you, but I did find that it just brought the Aeolus into like its own, you know, in a way that a solid state can't do, you know, where it kind of...
Yeah, the Aeolus, because it's like kind of, especially with stock pads or any of the pads, it seems to have a little more ability to get to a higher level with higher amps. Like good amps really bring it up a notch. I don't know, maybe it's the TPE driver, but it gives you that extra transient zing that you kind of want when you're not using it on a cool amp.
I would say, yeah, I agree. I like it with the Aeolus. That's probably my favorite pairing. I think that it just brings even more punch to the low end, and it just kind of gives you a little bit more detail, even with the stock tubes. The stock tubes are really clean, like extremely clean. Like I was hearing details in some music that I hadn't heard before on even some solid state amps that I would consider extremely detailed, yet maybe a little fatiguing. Whereas this one, you have that non-fatiguing sound with all of the details still. So it's quite impressive, really, what Justin and you have teamed up to create.
I'll trade you Zach, by the way. So Zach was showing
what Tyler. I was showing what I got here. Yeah,
those are gorgeous.
Looks like we have a question here for Zach from the chat, and I think I know the answer because I was reading about it on the forum. But what DAC would you pair with a pendant?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people know that I've sold the Metrum and the Sonnet DACs, you know, and so I use those a lot. But honestly, I've actually got a Yigi. I've got a couple vintage DACs. I love my old Enlightened Audio Designs DACs. A lot of times, you know, all the shit DACs from the Bifrost all the way up to the Yigi, you know, those are all really nice. So I recommend those a lot. But personally, yeah, I'm usually using the Yigi, a Sonnet, Morpheus at this point, or an old EAD and Enlightened Audio Designs vintage DAC. Those are the three that are in my rotation usually. I also have an iFi DSD Pro, I think it's called, that I use quite a bit. You know, it's kind of the ninja sword that, you know, does everything, has a bunch of different outs. And I think I know Tyler on. I think you didn't you get a Chord? I have a Chord Hero too that I love, and that's kind of the DAC I'm kind of lusting over now. Is that
the TT2?
Every time the Chord DACs have that extra magic dust, that the Salt Bay dust that I want to sprinkle on all my. Every time I don't hear a Chord DAC for a long time, and I hear one at a show or somewhere, and I put it, I'm like, oh, that's why there's just this kind of specialness to the sound that they add in their forward programming or whatever. That's really nice. I haven't heard the Rock No Wave Light yet. I've limited experience with the hollow DACs, but the thing is, all those top end DACs, you can't go wrong with any of them. It's kind of figuring out where you want to be and what you like. I definitely, there's more difference in amps than there are in high-end DACs. High-end DACs, there definitely is difference in sound, but not as much as a tube amp versus a solid-state amp or something like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, the TT2 definitely pairs with tube amps, by the way.
What are you guys using? You got the TT2 going right now?
Yeah, I've been right now. My main chain for me is the TT2 plugged into the ECP T4. That's like my daily driver. Like, just I'm happy. And then if I want solid state, I can throw the monitor back out. But usually I'll just plug right into the TT2. I also have on loan a Chord. I have a Hagerman tuba, which is really interesting. It's basically like a baby T4. So it's like a quarter the price too. So it's pretty impressive for that. And sort of sound. It uses L84 tube, dual EL84 tubes. But yeah.
I got it paired up with a Bifrost 2 right now, and I like that. That pairing's pretty great. It's a little bit of a warmer presentation, I think, as far as DAC goes, which I think is a nice complement to the stock tubes. So I'm liking that so far. But I had read somewhere on the forum that, like the Yigi and also, what's the other one? Is it Gungir, I believe, from Shit is also a good pairing as well. So I'm kind of interested in trying one of those as well with it. All right, let's see. Do we have any questions that you guys saw from the chat that might be good to take?
There is.
Stabilized wood aliases that'll be available at ZMF November coming up. Yeah,
wow.
So they don't look as sexy as they will when I get a nice camera on them, but
they look pretty sexy to me.
I got these. Here's a purple one.
Whew. Wow.
Look, get in the camera there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see the figure with my camera work, but
that thing is gorgeous.
Yeah, so I know everybody's kind of waiting on us to make our announcements for ZMF November. I apologize, everyone. I've been really inundated with getting emails, or not emails. I'm behind on emails too, but inundated with getting headphones out to everybody. And I think anyone who's watched our order list has seen them shrink quite a bit, and so we've been really concentrated on that. But I want everybody to know we're concentrating on ZMF November 2. Tomorrow we'll have a email going out to everybody kind of giving a schedule of when we're going to start, when things will be released, and we're going to let it play on longer into December this year for two reasons. One, we're going to keep making stabilized headphones and post them when they're done, because everybody's going to be able to see exactly what stabilized headphone they're buying, whether it's an A-list or a Verite Open. And then for two, we're not really taking much of a Christmas break this year because, a lot of us aren't going to see our families and stuff like that because of the pandemic. So, we're just going to keep shipping, right through the holiday there and make sure everybody gets their headphones.
That's sweet. That's killer. The fact that they'll be able to see what they're getting on, before they buy it from a limited perspective is pretty actually cool. So I imagine that's actually going to be extremely successful. Whoa, look at that.
Yes, this is a kind of caramel stabilized stained Verite closed. We only have a few of them made right now, but that
one came out fantastic.
Sick.
Actually, I think you shared the unfinished version of those on the stream we did way back.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where you see it when the cup comes in, and you're like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Then you put finish on it and just kind of explodes.
Yeah. Yeah. And then everyone that sees it just now, their mind just went.
Here's a kind of little bit more purple blue one, kind of cobalt colored.
I like the little wood burl like right on the edge too. Oh wow,
that is
nice.
I mean, what are you feeling right now, Tyler? Are you like, you seen all this purple stuff, and you're probably like, oh my.
I was just joking. I was like, I'll trade you my African Blackwoods for those Aeolus purples. I don't think that's how that works though. Oh man, look at that one.
Yeah, we don't.
That one looks
doesn't have a trade-in program, yet. But who knows? Maybe someday. We do the best we can with our small group, but being in a new shop, I mean, I know we did the tour with you, Tyler. It has just helped us get headphones out to people. It's just, I mean, this year was like Can Jam New York, pandemic, working by myself, working with half staff, and then to be able for the last 2.5 months have a full staff here, everyone be safe, have the whole system set up so our shop's airflow is completely safe. Even though we do wear masks all day, but our headphone output is just doubled. So it's great for me because my stress level has slowly declined. Even though it's been a stressful year, I think for everybody. Being able to be in the new shop and know that we're working safer and we're working faster has been great.
That new shop looks fantastic, man. Like I love the setup you have there. I was joking a couple of people randomly on the different forums and on the Discords. I was like, if I lived near you guys, I'd just be that weird gremlin guy that would just be sitting in the corner all the time, like, God dang it, Tyler, get out of here, shoot.
Yeah, I mean the thing that sucks about it is we have this whole, we bought this 14-foot, beautiful table to put all the gear on, and I'm so busy I don't get to listen to it as much as I want, but it's got all of the gear, all of my tube amps, my Glen amps, my Stratus and all that stuff, and we just haven't been able to show it to people because we just had to keep the shop closed because of COVID and everything, for safety and everything. But someday, 2020, quarter 3, 2021, when everyone's vaccinated or whatnot, we'll have a ZMF. It'll be the best ZMF Festivus that's ever been.
That would be amazing.
Tyler, are we going? We'll bring the cinema camera and we'll do some video and some BTS, some fun times of that. That would be sick.
Yeah, I'm definitely down. Always down.
2021. I mean, I know it's not going to be immediate, but 2021 and 2022 will be the best years of the 20s.
Of the 20s.
True story.
True.
Everyone's just going to go nuts.
Okay, so we got a couple questions I saw, so I'll take a couple real quick just in case, because I know, Zach, I know you can't keep you all day. We'd love to, but you've got so many.
I could probably go another 15, 20 minutes.
Woo! Sick. Perfect. Okay, so
I gotta sand these headphones, man. I gotta sand them.
For sure.
Gotta polish them.
So
I gotta make them beautiful.
I think one of the questions I saw was, what is your favorite headphone pairing with a pendant? I know we talked about the Aeolus as being a good one. Is there any other headphones that you really like with it, like maybe the iCAN or any of the other ones?
Well, I always tell this about our headphones to people, is that the thing I am the most excited about of ZMF is always the last thing we've done, because I always feel like I'm, most excited about the newest thing that we've come out with. So I definitely use the Verite closed right now more than the other ones, the Verite closed and Verite open. I think the Auteur actually is a great pairing with it too, because the Auteur, I mean, it's a little brighter. It's our most neutral headphone. And with the right tubes, I mean, the Auteur being neutral, but having that power at 300 ohms, it brings the bass up. It gives you that kind of nice weight for the bass that, in a lesser amp may not quite have. So yeah, I think for me right now, the Auteur and the Verite closed are probably the two that I go to on the Pendant the most, even though, you know, Verite Open's a close third. I love the A-list, and I think it definitely brings it up a bunch, but I listened to the A-list so much last year that I think my mind just, you know,
well, yeah, you like to change things. I think we all like to change things up. That's part of the fun of the hobby, too, is just choosing a different headphone. You get that brain burning on one, and then you're like, all right, let me grab this one. And now you're a whole new experience.
Models.
Yeah. And then what about so the tubes? I know you guys you'll handpick and choose different tubes. So what have been your favorites, I guess, to pair with a Pendant, and then maybe with the Verite Close or Verite Open as far as tubes for it?
My favorite tubes, you know, I mean, so there, you know, with tubes, there's this. I don't know if it's placebo effect or not. Is that you can just spend however much money you want to get, you know, so sometimes I don't know if I'm listening to the fact that I know I paid $200 for this tube, or the fact that I, you know, I have this, it's a Telefunken. I forget the exact number. It's one of those special diamond plate input tubes. And then when you know, the Baldwin tubes, sometimes you get the ones with the little blue dots or the yellow dots on top of them. And I think it's placebo because I am, you know, aesthetically, you know, driven. But when I have the Baldwin tubes with the little blue or yellow dots on the top, and then that special diamond Telefunken tube, I'm like, these look special, and I paid a lot of money for them. So they do have a smooth sound, and the Telefunken tube is very three-dimensional sounding without being gooey at all. And then the input tube for the 6TA4 tube, I just bought a whole giant batch of these because I think they're great. It's the I think is it the RFT 6CA4 tubes. They're just very clean sounding, very three-dimensional, very quiet. You know, no noise or anything. Do you guys notice that though? I mean, I know that when you get a special tube that you paid a lot of money for it, and you're like, I don't know that this actually sounds better than my $30 tube, but I'm gonna convince myself that it does, even if it's.
I think anyone that says differently is lying to themselves, to be honest.
I mean, it's probably like, you know, like with cables, you know that once you've got like 5N copper, that it's, you know, 0.0099999 good.
Yeah.
I don't know that I can hear that 7N copper, you know, the difference. 5N and 7N,
oh man,
but I'm gonna tell myself.
7N, I know it.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not I'm getting a huge difference in the audio quality with these, but I just if it's gonna focus or not. But I just like the here, we'll go this way.
There you go. Evergreen. There you go.
I just like the green color matched up with the Pendant. I think it's kind of cool. So, I mean, I think we're all driven somewhat by aesthetics, you know, and you know, different how things look with each other, and probably some of the tubes are less perceivable major differences between other ones, but I think some you definitely can. But visually, I think, yeah, if it adds something visually, it's also kind of nice, especially when you're listening in a dark room and it's glowing and it has this you know, particular look to it. That's one thing I would say about the Pendant. The glow is really nice, like from the tubes. When I might be just listening to music or editing videos or photo or whatever, mostly photos, when I'm listening, the glow is pretty gorgeous. Like the way, you know, it's set up, you know, I mean, it's kind of like having a nice, like flickering candle in your room. There's something relaxing about it. So I really enjoy that from an aesthetic perspective too.
Yeah, I think Zach, we talked about this too, and Marcello, we all talk about it in general, random times. But I think aesthetics plays a very large part in enjoyment in most things, not just headphones, but just in general. Like, like it's something that we talk about our space too, right? Like my space is a little messy right now, but like to have you when you come and sit in your space and you have everything color matched the way you like it, or just little knickknacks. Like I have my little Boba Fett action figure, or my other little like Legend of Zelda stuff, or you know, like that. It pulls you into your relaxation or your ability to enjoy that moment more, I guess. But we're back, Three Amigos style.
I figured out why my camera's doing that. That's because it's a 1DX Mark III, and it has a 30-minute time limit on it. That will all be changed when I get my Canon C70 as my B cam to the Canon C300 Mark III, and then it'll be none of that. So, hey, B&H.
Sony Life.
Come on,
Hashtag
B&H.
B&H, ship my SHIT already, please. Thanks. You listening?
They're probably slammed with the PS5 stuff. They're like, his Canon stuff can wait. We got to get these PS5s out.
For real. So we got about another 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So let's take any other questions for Zach, and then we'll still be on for a little bit longer. But let's make sure we get any questions in. So let's see. It says.
I can talk a bit about ZMF November and kind of give a little outline there.
Yeah, that's a great call, because I know that there's been a lot of people reaching out on my Discord, in the forums. They're like, and I know they ping Tyler, because Tyler is he's like the street cred guy for ZMF, and so everybody's like, Tyler, when ZMF November? And then because I'm friends with Tyler, they're like, Marcello, do you know? And I'm like, no, if Tyler doesn't know, I don't know. I mean, so we got you. You're the man. So give us some details on it, because I know people are just
There's
like
a very large contingent of people waiting off on buying anything until the announcement of ZMF.
I have gotten more questions about the Aeolus in the last 2 weeks and the Verite that I've been borrowing from Tyler than I've ever had. So I know that everybody's just like counting their dollars. What should I buy? What should I get? What should I get? So yeah, fill us in.
Burn in that Verite Open, by the way. I did not get any time on that.
No, I started. I started last night. It started, and then I had to package it up though for the stream to make it look like just the beautiful opening experience. Because man, what an experience opening this, especially in the wood case. Because that's the first time I've never had a headphone in the wood case. So that was just
that's a special thing.
It was really
special. And we got
special.
those ZMF microfiber cloths now that you.
So pretty. I had to even fold it perfectly back when I put everything back, because you had it folded like no edges, no lines, and then I was like, oh, it's like revealing. It was amazing.
I've noticed that if you wash those once if you put them in with your clothes, they get a little softer, like that shirt, your favorite shirt. So feel free to throw it in with your laundry. It'll soften up and be nice.
I mean,
I will definitely.
yeah. So with the mohawk, you're gonna want the mohawk.
Go ahead, Zach. Sorry.
A couple things people will notice coming up is we're actually doing a quick website switchover just on the shopping section, and so in a couple days you're going to see kind of a changeover. And it's basically that we're switching from a Shopify format just for the shopping section, or from a Squarespace format to a Shopify format. We're working on the aesthetic. The aesthetic will be fine, but going forward, it's just going to help us. Because the one thing about having a semi-custom product is that there's always a lot of malleability with what we're putting out, and this will help us make sure everything is on the website, so people don't have to email us all the time and say, "Hey, can I get this or can I get that?" And so that should be a little easier to navigate. As far as ZMF November is concerned, the main things you're going to see for limited editions, Aeolus is going to have that stabilized wood. Is going to be the limited edition. Verite Closed will have stabilized wood. Verite Open has the Ironwood that Marcello's got right there. And then for the Auteur, we're doing Wenge or Wenge. I don't know how people like to say it, but we have that coming in.
I like pronunciations.
Wenge or Wenge? What do you?
Wenge. I like Wenge personally.
How about Wenge?
Wenge.
Oh, the Wenge.
Let's just call it that.
That was like a half Italian. That was like an Italian roll R in there, and there's not even an R, so I don't know where.
Wenge.
Yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
I'll hear that in my head now. Every time I think of it, I'll know. Maybe we can roll the M in your name too. Marcello.
Marcello.
Yes, like you rolled it. You entirely wrong. After all time, be perfect. Sorry, Zach, we interrupted you.
No, I'm on it. What other headphones do we make? Okay, so Atticus and iCAN, and I'm actually sending you one of these, Marcello, but I didn't finish it quite in time. But Atticus and iCAN will be Marblewood, which is
that's pretty.
I think the other name for that is Tigre Caspi or something.
Sweet.
But that's kind of like a bold-looking zebra wood type wood. It's pretty nice, and yeah, I think that covers every headphone. So we have new limited editions coming out, and then the other part that everybody's always excited about is we don't ever actually discount the new headphones from our website, but we do discounts on the used and B stock stuff. And so we've got a couple things that were overrun or B stock that will be coming. We have some more Camphor Burl for the Verite Open and Close that will be releasing quantities.
Nice.
We've got B stock and numerous woods for all the models, and so there will be a decent selection of that stuff that will get live. The one thing I do want to tell is that if you have a ZMF on order right now, we're gonna keep shipping in the order the orders came in. It's not gonna be like, oh, ZMF November happens and then somebody orders in ZMF November is gonna get it before somebody who ordered ahead of time. And so we're gonna keep to that. But I mean, the main thing we're trying to keep to is just making sure that we never get behind the way we did earlier this year, which, a lot of that happened because of the pandemic, and a lot of it happened because we were switching shops. But, I don't think all the people that had to wait, 10 to 15 weeks earlier this year, that's just not going to happen again. And I think people who are recently getting their headphones are kind of surprised. Oh my gosh, my headphones shipped in 3 weeks. So it's exciting for us to be able to, get those in people's hands and not have to, feel bad about taking a long time to ship those. And then the last thing I did want to mention as far as ZMF November is that we're going to have this DIY section of the website that we're going to get up. We have all new proprietary headphone jacks that are, they're just made of high quality material, kind of an upgrade jack for both the connectors to the headphone as well as the jack into the amp. And we'll be selling those a la carte along with our splitters. And, people know that we have the electric wire now as our, headphone cables. We still have Mechanicos wire and Atmos wire that we'll be selling for people to DIY their own cables. Because I know a lot of people, they don't want to pay a bunch of money for someone else to make a cable for them. We're going to sell the material so that people can make their own cable and use our blingy jacks. And eventually, Q1 next year, we'll have all the jacks in each metal that will match the grill and rods of each headphone, which I'm looking forward to too, because it's just a neat aesthetic thing to be able to have.
That's awesome.
And new headphone stand woods as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get one of those eventually too.
The headphone stand?
Yeah, absolutely.
We got Bloodwood coming in and Cadillacs. Yeah. And we'll have Bloodwood, Cadillacs, Wenge or Renge, and Walnut.
Sick. What was that one you had, Tyler? What wood was that?
Oh, leopard. That's leopard wood.
That's pretty cool. Anything that looks like a cat, tiger, or leopard, I'm pretty much into. Love big cats, so it's kind of cool.
Two questions real quick, Zach. I'll start with the easy one first, or relatively easy. It's Manish. Hopefully I'm saying it. So, hey, will there be a warranty on B stock headphones?
Yes, yeah. So the warranty on all the ZMF November B stock U stuff, it's the same for the lifetime driver on the warranties and everything like that. The only thing about the B stock and used headphones is if you get the headphone and you don't like the way it looks or something, just buy the B stock and stuff. Buy it for the sound. There's always questions to whether how B stock is B stock and this and that. We always say, hey, there's going to be some marks on this. There might be a little hairline crack, but it's nothing that will keep the headphone from working perfectly. And it's nothing that you'll have to worry about long term as far as the headphone falling apart. It's just not going to look as beautiful as an A stock headphone. But so there's no warranty on the aesthetic stuff. But
Gotcha. And then two questions actually. Sorry, I left. Both from Martin. Any new distribution partners in the EU? And then the second one was, would you be willing to talk a little bit about the sub 1000 or headphone potentially, if there's any new progress with that?
I'm just, I'm going to go to our website because our guy I know we have some new. Here's the. Let me just go through the dealers I know we picked up this year in the EU. So we're getting a shipment out to Hedonist in France soon. They're a new dealer that we're really excited about because we haven't had a dealer in France before. The other dealer we're really excited about that's new is K55 in Switzerland. And they're getting their first shipment of headphones soon as well. And they're in Zurich. And so Hedonist is in France, in Paris, France. So those would be nice. In Europe, we all. I know. I can't wait till the pandemic. So I'm going to do a backpacking tour. I'll probably have to do it in a week so I can get back to the workshop to make headphones. But I'm going to do a tour of our new, because it's a great excuse to go to all these countries.
That'd be amazing.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Maybe you could hand deliver some.
Here is your order.
Now where's my croissant?
Love it.
It is 2 empty hands. Yeah. So those are the 2 newest ones in Europe, but I do want to mention the other ones that we have in Europe just because I don't want anyone to feel left out. In the UK, we've got Acorn. We picked up in Poland, we have a dealer that was new this year, Audios. And so they've been a great dealer. In Denmark, we have Blue Cat Audio that started with us earlier this year. And then anyone else in Headphone Auditions started with us last year in Amsterdam. Arc Audio started with us, and they're a great dealer. I believe they're out of. Bevan will fill me in here. I think is it Sweden, I believe, but Bevan can correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. And then we also got our first dealer in China with Endgame Audio. And we're really excited about that because it's a market that we hadn't reached much before, and so they just got their first shipment a couple weeks ago. And we also have a new dealer that we just started with in India called Goldfinch Acoustics. And then we have all our other regular dealers, and you can check out the dealer page on our site. And I'll stop blabbing on about how great our dealers are.
I think that's actually pretty cool, though, just to see how much you've expanded throughout the world. Because for a few years, I imagine. If people in other parts of the world wanted to get, a pair of your headphones, it wasn't as easy as it's now becoming. So now you're able to spread the ZMF, house sound and love to places that may have had a harder time to get it. So that's pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah, and I totally understand a lot of people wanting to either hear the headphone or have somewhere close to them so they're not shipping a headphone, all over the world if they want to hear one of our things. I do know that people, a lot of times want to be able to hear ZMFs in the North America and have dealers here. And as a made-to-order business, the thing we've just found is that if we have dealers that are local in the United States, it just never works out because then we end up competing with the dealers on timeline. We end up competing with them on price. We end up competing with them on I don't know if you just heard my doorbell.
Pizza delivery.
I don't know who it could be. Maybe we'll let them.
Whoa, I saw somebody run by.
Anyways, but yeah, so unfortunately we're not doing dealers in North America. It does make everything more linear. But what we have done as far as making North America easier to do, and I know that it's not perfect, but for stock headphones, there's a 10% plus any transaction fees, return cost for any of our headphones. And I realize it's still a bit of a loss, but I think it brings us closer to an industry standard of return fee on stock headphones. And going forward, stock headphones are going to ship a lot faster than any limited edition. So it'll give people who want to try something with less, because you can't return our limited edition. So if you want to try something with less, possible loss, the stock headphones are the way to go.
That makes sense to me. I mean, 10% really isn't that bad, honestly. The chances of you like absolutely not enjoying the headphone, at least so far in my experience, are pretty slim. But if that was the case, 10% is not that bad.
Yeah, I mean, the way we were able to do that is that we still are going to, as a business, lose money on the 10% because all the headphones are made the same way. But it is, you know, counterbalanced a little bit by us having no returns on the limited editions. Because what we used to do was do the 25% on everything. And I just realized, you know what, you know, the people who are buying the limited editions they know they want something special. You know, they might be easy to resell because we're not going to make these forever. And so by eliminating any returns on the limited editions, because we're making so few, it allowed us to get that lower amount in there for the stock wood ones.
Makes sense to me. Well, we've kept you probably over your time.
Yeah,
and you've been so gracious for popping on today on short notice. And I think I sent you that email like 1:30 in the morning after I had shot like this like image in this room of like, you know, trying to get everything perfect. And just for the live stream picture, and I'm like, I'm gonna email Zach, and Tyler and I had talked about it, and so really appreciate you coming on. And I know that all the forum buddies and audio friends absolutely do too, just to hear a little bit about what's upcoming, you know, the different woods, and then also ZMF November. So anytime you need to go, please, you know, don't feel that we're holding you. And I
can stay for a few more minutes. I could talk about that under $1,000 model for a minute too.
Please do.
I know. Basically, it's. Do I have the? I think I have a prototype here. Here we go.
Oh, cool.
You'll see that one side is 3D printed, but basically it's a little bit smaller. It's still a big headphone. But the chassis, you see one of the sides is 3D printed, and then the other side is CNC cut. But it's a smaller, closed, and this weighs about 350 grams.
Wow, that's
and
pretty light. It's pretty
you know,
light.
so it's pretty light. It's still, you know, you can see it still sticks out a bit. So it's not in terms of a headphone, not like an on-ear or anything. It's still an over-ear headphone. But we just cut away as much wood as we could and as much metal as we could to get the weight down. And, you know, instead of manufacturing in the way of, you know, CNC cutting everything the way we do now, we're going to, you know, have to pay for, you know, molded metal, which will be able to get us the price lower, because we want to make sure it's still all metal, leather, and wood. Without any of the plastic parts. And so we're shooting for that, you know, 800-ish area price range. And we'll still see where everything comes out. But, you know, we're finalizing a lot of things with it. It's, you know, fitting really well. It's weighing the right amount. I'm tweaking the final stuff of the sound so it sounds great. But the main last couple of challenges are making sure that we can make them, you know, fast enough, and that we can, you know, make sure it sounds, you know, because the thing is, I never want to make a headphone where I'm like, you know, this is going to sound like an $800 headphone. I just want to make it the best it can possibly be. And so I don't, you know, all I can say is that I know it's going to, you know, be, you know, on the level of what people expect from a ZMF headphone. It's just getting everything worked out so that, you know, we can make them in a manner that people aren't going to be waiting for them all the time. And so a lot of that's just logistical stuff, is kind of waiting for the pandemic to be over, because I don't want to hire 5 new guys right in the winter of the pandemic and all that stuff, and get our workshop just set up to being like, hey, this is the section of the workshop where we're making the headphone that is $800, and there's, you know, not a bunch of custom options because we just can't do it at that price point. But, you know, you're going to get a, you know, lighter weight, you know, semi-portable closed headphone that, you know, sounds great and has all the ZMF stuff that people have come to love. And so I'm really excited about it. I wish, you know, at this point, you know, it's just us getting caught up, getting the pandemic over, getting our workshop set up. So I hope sometime in 2021 this will be out. We're certainly very close with the design and everything, but there's all those other barriers to kind of get through before we can come out. You can see it's got the 3.5 millimeter
connector
jacks too. So it's going to be, a new kind of jack on it. So everything will be lighter weight, which people like. And
I think it looks sick. I mean, it looks exceptionally well done, and for the price point you're bringing it at, what are you, as far as the tuning, I mean, if you can share, how do you see this headphone sounding compared, because every headphone you make is unique. There's not really one headphone that necessarily is better than another, right? I mean, to some people there is, like some people may love the Aeolus more so than the Verite, or they love the iCAN more than the Aeolus, or some people love even the Ori, and it doesn't really matter. It's just what the preference is. So how do you see this, if you can share, this new one fitting in as far as sound signature?
Yeah, so far I've used a few different drivers in it, and what I'm noticing about the design is because there's a little less cup volume there, that it actually lends itself a little more to that Harman type tuning. And I'm not one that I'm like a proponent where I say, oh, it's got to have that. I mean, as people have seen in the tuning of our headphones, we don't follow the typical Harman curve. So it's probably going to end up somewhere kind of between that Harman tuning and what we do at ZMF is having, a little more filled in lower mids and a little, less accentuated treble there. And so it's going to be somewhere in between in there. And I think that's a nice area to be where a general audience will really like that tuning. And likely, my thought is that impedance around 80 is probably a good place to be with this, because then it'll still play really nice with tube amps, but not be so hard to drive that you're gonna need some crazy portable player, to run it.
I think that's
awesome.
That's brilliant. I mean, that's exactly what I would look for probably in that type of headphone. So I think you crushed it. That's great.
And who knows? Maybe 5 years down the line, we'll have the Bluetooth noise canceling version. Although I'd have to go patent reading or whatever. Maybe I'll call Sony up and be like, "Hey, okay, never mind, bye."
I don't know. I like the fact that you're hooking up to a fine piece of equipment or equipment dedicated. You're in a lot of cases. I know a lot of people can use their phones, but a lot of the times I'm like, phone away. Get into a groove. I've got thousands of photos to edit, or a fine retouching job that I need to do. I mean, I don't want to be Bluetooth connect. I want to be locked into the amp. I want to be locked into the headphones. I want to have my espresso or my coffee right there. iMac ready. Let's go, and just kind of zone into the music and forget about everything else. And it just pulls me into what I'm doing, or just be kicked back in a chair. And the Bluetooth thing to me is not, I love what you're doing now. So.
You're a coffee guy, Marcello?
Oh my God. Yeah, probably too much. But yeah, love coffee, love espresso. I remember watching the stream on Tyler's stream of your coffee machine, and I was like, oh man, I wish there was not a pandemic. I would get on an airplane, just go enjoy a cup of coffee, listen, hang out with you guys, and I definitely love
just
coffee.
Let the crema flow until
That's right.
the moon comes up.
That's right. Exactly. All right, let's see.
I've actually noticed I've been way into lately is dirty chai lattes, making my own dirty chai lattes.
That's one of
Does
my
dirty
favorites.
mean there's just coffee in it?
Yeah, like a shot of espresso.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The chai it's a nice flavor.
And you can get the Oregon chai stuff in the pre-package, and you just
That's what I have.
warm. You can be lazy like me and just nuke it for like 2 minutes, or you could like simmer it properly, and then add equal parts milk and then a shot of
the flavor flowing.
You gotta froth it though. I mean, you put it in with your machine and you froth it and blend it with the milk, and then get in that spiral circle, and then the bubbles start just coming up and frothing just nice.
In fact, I'm not gonna lie to you. That's what I was drinking this whole time was a chai latte.
I love chai latte. I think Tyler and we've talked about that before. I love chai latte.
I don't know. There's probably not enough viewers on here for it to matter, but the Oatly barista oat milk, that foam that up, it'll foam right up for you.
We have oat milk in the fridge.
Give it Oatly a little plug there. Maybe someday they'll reach out to me and say, "Thanks for that plug, Zach."
Heck yeah.
For real.
Tyler, do you have any other questions you think of?
Oh, I just wanted to hear what everything Zach already said. So I'll probably he has now tempted me with some things that I was not planning to be tempted with. So I'm trying to.
Oh yeah, we one thing I did with the stabilized stuff is so our first batch we got in 6 months ago or so had a lot of kind of brighter colors, and we realized that not everybody wants a really bright looking stabilized. So our latest batch, the colors are a little bit darker. So we should have a really good mixture of stabilized colors, and we'll try to release them as fast as we can. What I'm headed to do right now is to go sand the last few Camphor Burl cups. We just cut, I think we have 6 or 7 more Camphor Burl closed Verites to send out. I'm just going to work on those, and then it's all stabilized all the time. And the Monkey Pod too, to pitch the stock headphones. The Monkey Pod we just got in from Hawaii is really nice and has a little bit of sapwood and color to it. We have a great supplier, Kumwela Hardwoods in Hawaii. We buy a lot of wood from them as much as we can, because Hawaii is a great resource for exotic woods that are American. So it's just a cool way to get wood when we can.
I'm excited for a lot of the Hawaii woods because I just love Hawaii. So
Hawaii.
We got some of that curly koa, and I haven't cut any of it yet, but it's nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. Very nice. Mwah.
Mwah. So awesome.
Chris had a question, but I answered it in the chat. But for anybody else, yes, there is Zach had mentioned earlier, there is a limited edition Atticus and iCAN coming soon. So
Marblewood,
yeah.
Marblewood.
And I should have one of those pretty soon to kind of show, and we will
do
stream again, and then a full review, of course.
Do I have where's the Marblewood? Do I have one right here?
It's pretty gorgeous. We saw it last time on Tyler's channel on his stream. By the way, anybody that doesn't follow Tyler's channel, I'm going to link it in after the description. Check it out. He does great real-time reviews. Awesome. And then, of course, he's generally doing some excellent stuff with ZMF as well. So don't forget to follow Tyler's channel.
Yeah, I just do silly live streams that let people murder my ears with their random music.
DP dust covers, yeah, dust is a real thing, especially for me in Nevada. I got Sheldon has his Electro Stacks on loan to me right now. Shout out to Sheldon, thank you, brother, for sending those in. Anytime I use them briefly for whatever I'm listening, and then they go right into a sealed bag because I'm like, don't get dust. So yes, I feel you.
I couldn't find the Marblewood headphone. I know where Marcello's is. It's on the other end of the shop, but.
So stay tuned for that, though. We will see that soon.
I'll post it. You know what? I'll post if you want to see the Marblewood. I'll post a picture to Instagram. I'll post it. I'll post it right now for you.
And I'll link the gram for everybody too in the description of the video shortly as well, so you guys know where to go if you don't already. Most of us probably already follow ZMF.
We're gonna post the Marblewood headphone here. The Marblewood is kind of interesting in that it has almost the texture of the the Wenge, or however you say it, because it has these kind of big pores, but it has it's much lighter in color, and has that kind of zebra wood aesthetic to it. What should I talk about?
Oh, sorry. People are asking about when are we going to get ZMF dust covers?
Dust covers for the headphones or for
the headphones?
I mean, realistically, if you just get this too.
Yeah, just throw them back in the box.
I mean, this is pretty gorgeous. I mean, I hear what everybody's saying about the dust covers. It takes up less space, but if you were to just get one of these,
Get some microfiber cloth. You
know, and then yeah, you can just lay the cloth so you can see, and then you can just lay the cloth over them.
All right, I just posted the Marblewood picture
to the grams.
So now you can kind of see what the magic is all about.
Bevan just posted in the chat. That is actually very, very like those things are crazy good for the little sticky hand. Those things that like you had like this, and they work great to get like the dust out of the grills and stuff. Oh, these are my clothes. I'm like, oh, no, wait, yeah.
The way we got the idea was there's this actual like audio dust like sticky thing you can buy on Amazon, and it's it's called Onzao Zero Dust. It's a stylus cleaner for record players, and it's literally a little square of silicone. It's $40, and for one of these things. And it comes in a fancy blue velvet thing, but then I was like, I think this is just silicone. So we went and bought you can buy 1,000 of those sticky hands for I don't know, $10 or something, and they do the same. And you can clean them in water, and they work great. So that's to anyone who wants to clean their stylus is just go buy the sticky hands instead of the. I'm sorry, Zero Dust. I realize you're probably great, but.
I mean, that's a good pro tip to save us money. That's more money in our pockets for more ZMF. So, I mean, every dollar counts.
That's a ZMF pad almost right there. That's
almost a cowhide.
Cowhide, yeah, it's like I think, right around there. So it's right there. I think outside of that, I really don't have too much. I just enjoy chatting with you guys, and Zach, you pretty much wrecked all my questions with all your answers. So I guess with those things in place, what's the do we know? I know people are biting at the bit. What's the goal for timing for ZMF November, ZMF Ember, ZMF November?
I'm going to send an email out tomorrow to give people a timeline and everything. But what it's going to look like is likely Wednesday for a lot of the stuff. Probably the first stabilized sets. A lot of the used stuff we'll list on Wednesday. And then we'll probably try to do an update every week until December 15th or something like that. So that as we get the sets built, because it's kind of like some stuff's gonna be released on the 25th, but then on the 2nd and the 9th and the 16th, there will be other updates probably every Wednesday. I'm thinking because we're gonna keep making headphones as we get caught up with everything else.
Yeah,
it's pretty huge. That's real quick. That's happening fast. Get ready.
It's happening.
Get ready, peeps. Laser sounds. Bevan's shooting laser sounds in the chat right now.
Yeah.
I don't think I
think
hold on, I might have that somewhere. I don't know what it is. I'm not even gonna try. This is my first time using this software, so I'm not gonna. Well, second time, right? We tried this once, but I do have some sound effects, so I'll have ready for the next one. There, I'll just do it manually.
My daughter's addicted to crudes, and so her latest thing she loves is the little sloth in that, and it does this thing where it's like the end of the world. It goes dun dun dun. Coffee is on. I think she's trying to tempt you away, Zach.
She says, "Come get coffee." He's like, "I gotta go."
Well, yeah, I guess I probably should, though, get these headphones sanded. And I'm sorry to everyone who's waiting on an email response from me. I've just been so laser focused on production, I probably have a couple hundred emails or something I need to do. So I'm sorry. I will be getting to you guys, within the next 24 hours. And yeah, I'm excited for ZMF November. I'll, if you're on the best thing to do is to get on our email list, but I'll also have the guys at HeadFi use my sponsorship over there and get something posted on the front page so that everybody can know about it that way too.
Awesome. Zach, thank you so much for coming on. Know how busy you are. Seriously, truly appreciate it. Tyler, thanks for helping put everything together and giving me a call before the stream. You got this, dude? You're okay? Like, he was like talking me through all the technology of live streaming everything. And so just really stoked to get you on and appreciate you, seriously. And I think everybody does also appreciate the fact that, even if you have a list of 200 emails, they know that bottom line is you're working hard to get the orders out to everybody. And I talk about this a lot with my clientele in the photo and video world. There's a fine line between, like, you can have fast and less quality, or you can have quality and less speed. You can sometimes maybe meet in the middle, but you're compromising something.
Find that balance.
And I think most people in our hobby would prefer to wait a little bit longer for the quality that you're going to deliver to them. So I think everybody appreciates you and Bevan and everything you guys are doing. I know everybody appreciates, or they should appreciate what you and Bevan are doing, and we're all very grateful. Seriously, you've created a magical experience for us.
And there's something to be said about the sheet life. The sheet life and the wait list is, I think it adds a lot to the. I don't know. There's something special about that.
I should say we're changing that, and it's because one thing that happens is that we have these sheets and everybody's always looking at them, and so that we're trying to make it more individualized. And so what's going to happen moving forward is there will be a spot on the website where you can put in your order number and it'll tell you where you're at. And I went in, I made these, and so every time your headphone, we're going to do a much better job of it, I promise, is we're going to go through, as your headphone is made, you'll get an email that tells you about what process it's in, what that means, what's happening, educate you a little on what that process is at ZMF. And, we're also going to be making a lot more video content to kind of go along with that stuff. But somewhat soon, the sheets will be disappearing. And I'm sorry if people who love looking at them, to see
I
how
know people
fast
that refresh daily.
As you can imagine, it creates more stress with us, and so we're trying to keep it more individualized. And I mean, the good news is that from this moment going forward, stock headphones especially are going to be shipping so fast, not so fast, but within a matter of a few weeks, that you won't have to worry quite as much about looking at the sheet for 10, 15 weeks. Hope that won't be a thing anymore. So I won't let it happen.
I like Bevan's HIPAA acronym.
Yeah.
That's so perfect. That's so awesome. I am super stoked, and now I need to start rethinking some of my other budgetary means and thoughts and allocating, because once again, you have shown me things that I probably should not have seen, because now once seen cannot be unseen.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
Every time I see those, I was like, Tyler's going to just lose his mind. Those are
so
gorgeous.
Pretty. Oh.
Hold on. I can make you full screen, maybe. Actually, I better not mess with it. My chances are getting it back to normal.
Look at that. I love the line.
There
Oh, man. Yeah, those look
camera
fantastic.
doesn't focus very well, but
I mean,
those
you
are
can
gorgeous.
Still see the texture of the wood. Oh, wow.
And I like that too.
Oh, the contrast between the
Little
purple.
burst of wood. Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
I like that. That's
there's lots of varieties of the stabilized maple stuff. So and that's the thing is, we the couple of people that bought them at Can Jam earlier this year, when we made them, we realized quickly we have to show these to people before they buy them, because if they don't, there's just so many possibilities. Everybody's going to want to pick out their wood and all that stuff. So this is just definitely the best way to make sure everyone gets what they want.
I did see a pair. Sorry, last comment for me. I did see a pair that someone shared relatively recently. It was I think it was on Reddit. It was a Reddit post, I think. But it was the pink and purple stabilized, I believe, Verite Opens. And the guy also bought a pair of like a bone white marble or
He actually had those purple ones are actually camphor burl that is just stained.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so, yeah, we still get a lot of emails about it because, up until maybe 3 or 4 months ago, I always try to accommodate everybody and take custom orders and that stuff. For the last 3 or 4 months, we haven't been doing it, and we're probably not going to do it until we get set up for it, is kind of custom versions of stock models. And because what happens is those custom orders kind of have a whole different process, and it slows every other headphone down. And so we were doing them up until the middle of this year, but we're probably not going to do those stains and different metals and different things until we get. And our hope is to eventually have a semi-custom shop type thing open where you can choose, different woods, but just you're going to know, hey, I'm going to wait longer. I'm probably going to have to pay a little more and that kind of thing. Just because the most important thing to us right now is being able to get the headphones out the door in a timely manner. Because once people are waiting over 10 weeks, and I totally understand it. Doesn't feel good for anyone. So.
Well, I might have to roll out.
I think we pretty much.
No, my wife just texted me. She just pulled up, and as she was pulling the daughter out of the truck, she threw up everywhere. So,
well, on that note.
So yeah,
that's
my daughter.
One way
I think
to end the stream.
Yeah, I think she got boba, and I think she swallowed too much boba at once, and
poor little lady.
Yeah, she does that. She has a really weak gag reflex, so if she gets something even remotely stuck in the back of her mouth, she's like, that's just her response. So,
poor buddy.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank everybody for being here and all the support again from everybody in the community for the channel and for all 3 of us on the stream. And look forward to some more stuff coming with ZMF. Full reviews on the Pendant on the channel, full review on the Verite Open. As well as an iCAN coming in, and get your T-shirts. Don't
Salmon.
Yes,
we've got lots of new swag coming. It's gonna be great.
I feel left out. I should have had one, guys. I feel kind of goofy.
And the material, so soft, so comfy.
We'll send it with your. Well, Monday when the site goes live, let us know which shirt you like, and we'll.
Well, I mean, whatever matches you guys, so we can be the 3 amigos.
Purple.
I think I'll pick something that works with your Kelvin scale there.
Black is always good too. I'm big into black, so.
Tie-dye.
Awesome. Tie-dye's dope too. I love tie-dye. I am a huge Grateful Dead head. All right, guys. I think with that, much love to everybody out there in the interwebs.
Exactly.
And
awesome.
Check everything out. Future, we'll get this posted up. If you missed this live, we'll get it posted up to the channel so you can watch it later and catch up. Once again, thank you to everybody. And with that, I think we're going to close it out. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you all.
Thanks, Eric.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Marcello. Thanks, Zach, for joining.
Thank you guys for being here.